Gotta get you back. Discover. Wow. I felt that one.
Oh, I've got to get it back.
Oh, yeah. Discover.
Sing it, Christopher.
Discover.
Gotta get it back. Never dies. That's what we're telling them today. Say hermosa dia. Because we're Latinas, but we're lame.
Buenos dias.
We don't know anything. It's really lame. I'm going to stop saying by the way. Never.
I'm crying.
Why are you crying? Why has he got tears?
I don't know what's going on today.
Just leave the black mane to do its thing.
It's not doing anything. That's the problem.
It's giving life.
It's giving
like
death.
one zebra.
It's giving indie beninging.
It's yours. You didn't buy it. So
I'm crying.
praise the Father for that.
So today we are talking on the effects of childhood trauma and relationships.
Yeah. So I'd like to first of all say, not really into chatting people's business. I'm actually always the last to know. For a long time I've been speaking about relationships and in regards to realising what my conditioning was or is, which I'm constantly healing from. I watched something. I follow this guy, but I don't. I haven't kept up for probably the best part of a year. In a way, obviously because it was a big topic, it came up. Or did you tell me?
I sent it to you.
I would like to first of all say, before I go into it, Castillo, regardless of what happened and that this interview got out about how you felt in your previous relationship and all the things that you did, I want to give you respect. I should tell you why. There's a lot of us out here that wish our ex would sit us down and tell us the truth. Honestly. Tragic. And I know that you want them to take it down because of all the things you said, especially in regards to your daughter. But you know what? I don't think you realise that gave a lot of us closure. Mm-hmm. It made us, it touched the levels. And I really do pray, because I've seen your video where you've said that you did not sign the release or the disclosure to release it, and you're mad about it and you want everyone to take it down. But you are not the only one with this type of issue. I think most people are pretending because it's easy to direct the whole situation at you, maybe laugh about it, chat about it, etc. But if I was you, if I was in your shoes, I would actually embrace it. Yeah. I would embrace it because it's a topic that needs to be said. And I felt like I was your ex.
But you know what, also with what he said, I know how he's saying it can be detrimental to a child, and that the fact that he's got a daughter and now feelings have changed. I feel like it is a good thing that it has been released, because he can learn from himself and how his past feelings, and show his daughter, like, this is the wrong type of guy you go for, or this is how you have to deal with life when mad experiences occur. Like, you have to just deal with it and put your best foot forward.
This could be in regards to your ex, but in your situation, when something negative or somebody negative or something is going on in your life and it's really pressing you, those people are actually doing you a favour, because what it does is it ignites irritation, disappointment, or the need to be successful within yourself or to change. Perhaps it triggered a change that you probably wouldn't have thought of. And to be honest, sitting from a seat where I understood what was going on, I could see that he couldn't understand. He doesn't understand why he feels that they're that way entirely. Yeah. And his ex just didn't get it. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, he was showing signs of narcissism. narcissistic abuse.
A lot of people think that narcissists go after weak people. They go after people that are easy to manipulate. This can be true in some circumstances, but me personally, as a diagnosed narcissist, I need a strong person. I like strong, successful women, and independent women just do something to me. It's always been that way. Probably because I was raised by strong women. Every strong person in my life growing up was a strong woman. But other people, they might target people that are coming out of situations, coming out of marriages, of toxic situations that are vulnerable and things like that. With a lot of narcissists, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. Better you are doing in your life, the higher the esteem that comes to the narcissist for bagging you or for pulling you. Men and women and non-binary people.
I know it's hard to probably digest for people watching it, because we'll all have our opinions.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying what he did was right, because I know what it is to be on the receiving end of that type of thing.
We're coming on like a show, broadcasting it.
Yeah, I know.
Regardless of if he wanted to show like his ideas for creativity and making a program, still, like, you do these things privately.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, this is the problem though. This is the problem, because I don't believe that he would probably, and I'm speaking for you right now, but a lot of us, if things didn't come out,
yeah, you wouldn't know.
We wouldn't address our shit.
Yeah.
Whether privately or publicly, whatever. Whether in a conversation with some outsiders and someone said something and you were like, why did you say that?
I mean, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that you did say was you will always be detached.
Yeah.
Perhaps, because...
No, but I feel like he just talks because in that same interview he talked about, it's never going to change in regards to him and his daughter. And he's had feelings change.
Here's the thing. You know what I saw? This is what I saw. And I know that, no respect to your current relationship, but you love that woman. Because for a man to expose himself in that way, I wish.
Yeah.
Okay, most people said you didn't show any remorse though. I'm not sure what your intentions were, but I was looking through all the noise.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody spilling their soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless if they think they have one or not. It's just if your ex was aware of what your issues were, I reckon that would have gone differently. Yeah. But awareness, because what I'm saying, this is the point I've been saying to everybody since we started this channel. I was not aware of my conditioning. One of the first videos is I didn't know I was toxic. I had no idea I was toxic. Not because I was being overtly toxic or doing things to hurt people, but I was in situations unaware of my conditioning, accepting certain things, being very passive, just chill and cool, like don't breathe down my man's neck type of thing. Knowing something's not right.
But you always ignore your intuition because you just feel like you've built enough trust for that other person, your other partner, to have the awareness, especially if they know your trauma and things that you've been through, that they won't go ahead and do the same thing.
A lot of people might agree, but I suggest you go look some stuff up. But you got to remember that you and this person magnetize towards each other because you're raised in the same household.
Yeah.
That probably doesn't make sense. He's like, raised in, you sit with a brother, sit? No, what I'm saying is we're all within the same conditioning. Our dynamics might be different. Our setup might be different. The experience of narcissism, it always starts from the home, like everything, right? It's either neglect or it's spoiling. Either, did you know that spoiling is abuse and neglect is abuse? You say, spoiling, how could that be abuse? Because you're not giving your child boundaries. And what did they say?
Spoiled rotten.
Spoiled rotten, that's it. And so what you're doing, just like we said in the previous video where the girl was given money by her father, or sent money. So you give and give and give and give to the point where, the point where you are entitled, you're demanding, you're unaware of other people's feelings, you have no empathy. What else? Well, just those three in the first instance can cause so many problems within a relationship. As you get older now, if you're demanding, you have no empathy, and you're spoiled, Do you know the type of issues that arises in relationships? That
but
means
if you like that, you're a man or a female who likes that, then that it shows like your issues as well, your own trauma, because it's like you're becoming.
So guess what? So what you do is you get with somebody who has the same condition, but guess what their problem is? They're a people pleaser.
Yeah.
They have
low
self-esteem, whether they realize or not. Sometimes you don't have low self-esteem. You just think that your needs aren't important, which coincides with being a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And so you've got this dynamic now where one person is doing as they please and the other person is sitting down receiving this it's an unbalanced
becoming a user.
Yeah, so you're being used in the scenario, and you also say I'm the victim, but if you had healed your own traumas, you would never be in that in the first place.
This is the thing, like I always say, if I'm going to have any children, I'm going to go to therapy or sort out all my issues first before bringing another child in or getting with someone in the first place. And not knowing their traumas, their issues, and then bringing it into a next life. And like the similar situation, the man being like, oh well, you trapped me, kind of thing. Now it's an obligation for me to deal with this another human being, this another life. No. But
do you see how important early years are in regards to attachment? Because obviously, you know, one of the things that he said, which is you was abandoned. Both your parents had schizophrenia, and you know he's seen some horrific things. And you've got to think that age, you're very impressionable. Yeah. You don't know. Remember, you learn how to love through your caregivers.
Exactly.
Now, from a certain age to a certain point, you're not being shown anything. So you're making decisions based off lack of experience, and nobody's taught you anything or shown you how to love.
Yeah.
And then they say by the age of 5, that's when the seeds that have been sowed sink in.
Yeah.
So they say you can change a child. I think you can still manage to change a child at around 8, but it's going to take more work. You can continue to try, but the main foundation.
That is the foundation.
Yeah, that's the foundation. So it's going to, the longer you take to deal with the issues, because think about it, right? I'm not sure how old he is, and you know, let's not talk about him anymore, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But if you've been practicing a certain way of living and thinking, because it's all to do with your thinking,
you're going to be stagnated.
It's going to be really difficult for you to break out of that cycle. And so you have to practice a new cycle, that you know, because to be honest, okay, so in regards to not having any feelings towards, you know, your child, it's a given. Because really, okay, all of that is about protecting yourself. It's a defense mechanism, because being close is called have approach avoidance relationships.
Yeah. Attachment.
The first word's not correct, I find it. But what you do is you get close to somebody.
Avoiding something.
You get close to someone, and then once they respond, you back off. So it's just like, well, I'm trying to you approached me first. I got all into it. You ran, because it's a fear.
Of course,
to them in their brain, it's not.
You're going to go away at some point. So instead of investing all my emotions, I'm just going to see how long you stick around for, type of thing. Like if I jump in and out of it, then I know if your wife's staying, like you're gonna stay. That's why when my man said about it wasn't until the 2nd year that I took you seriously, it's peak, but I understand it. When he was saying how, like,
in your situation,
no, he messed around, my man.
Okay.
He messed around with 16 girls in the first year or whatever. He put everybody in ranks, and she was at the top, but then he's still doing things behind her back. So it's kind of like he was still trying not to admit his feelings for her, because
you don't understand the feelings.
You don't get it.
This is the thing. You don't understand love, because you he wasn't brought up in love.
Mm-hmm.
This is why he says, you know, being raised by his grandmother was an obligation.
Yeah.
You know? And what you got to remember is that generation didn't have all of this information.
Plus
and
they would never talk.
Exactly. And I was saying this the other day, and I know it seems like I'm veering off the topic, but especially in, to be honest, I don't like that word black, because you can say you're Spanish, you're African, you know, you're Italian. You don't have to say I'm white Italian. And so you know, and also those are labels that were given to us, because first everybody got branded in African, whether you were from America, Africa or England. Yes, white, black people were in England from the start. The Ordovician period, go look it up. So what I'm saying is, what we don't realise is a lot of these issues stem from somewhere. Let me show you.
Childhood.
Let me show you though. Think about it. I was saying to you earlier, slavery wasn't that far away.
Mm-hmm.
When my grandparents died recently, and I looked at the dates of birth, they were born in the early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at literature which says, like I said in our previous video, which was about religion, a lot of these ideals were brought in the 1900s. So when slavery was occurring, think of, I always say, slavery was a narcissistic bed. Think about it, because the same person that's beating you, is also the same person that's feeding you.
Right.
The same person that's abusing you and breeding you for more slaves is the same person that it provides a roof over your head. Yeah. So you know, what do they call that thing when you
cognitive?
Well, that's cognitive dissonance, but it's a breeding bed for narcissism. Stockholm syndrome. So you are loyal to your abuser.
Conditioning.
Now, and I'm speaking about it from my perspective as what kind of woman do you want to call me? Ancient woman. That's what I call myself anyway. From the ancient ones, right? Pre-Adam.
Right.
Pre-Adamite people with no souls.
Anywho,
what I'm saying is this. It wasn't that far ago.
Yeah.
We act like, slave, get over it, was age. It wasn't. It wasn't. Your grandmother is the child of a slave. I said to you, she said her Mima, who was white, was running from slavery in America. So what I'm saying to you is, her parents probably had the idea that, okay, we're free now. You know, to a certain degree, we could do our own thing. Let's not talk about all of that stuff. Let's just get over it. But you still had the same ideals, which are, the child must be seen and not heard. Mm-hmm. You don't really have any rights. That strictness, because all that beating that we went through, well, I say my generation especially went through, you know, it's stemming from that. Why we don't know how to talk, but I tell you what, if I beat you, you'll get it.
Yeah.
And what you don't realise is that your parents and sometimes your fathers are pre-grooming you for abuse. You're going to say that's far-fetched because it's just normal, you know. It never did us any harm. Yeah, sometimes we probably did need a box, but you can speak to your children. Yeah. But that's only if you have the what do you call it? The knowledge.
Yeah.
If you don't have the knowledge, you're just going to repeat what you've always known.
Cycles,
And you've got to also remember in slavery, which, like I keep saying to you, is not, if you have a great grandparent, it's not that long ago. I wish that my grandmother was spoken and grandfather, and I wish that her grandparents had told them something, because it wasn't. So we're still dealing
generational
with
curses,
prejudices, stereotypes, racism. It's
Never
there
ending.
because it wasn't that long ago, and the same laws are in place. The same behaviour. The fact that I can't come to work with my hair like this because it offends a white person. Hello. that's another example of
White privilege.
White privilege. Right?
Please.
And it might sound, well, why do you have to make it a racist thing? I'm just giving you...
I didn't make it that way, you did.
Right.
Your
But I'm just giving you a different perspective. And what I'm saying is, not even us as Asian people realise that our mothers and fathers are slave masters, really. You know? And our parents had to do as they were told. And then also, within that dynamic, it was... they encourage men. There's a video, I'll find it, where in Jamaica they separated the women from the men, you know, on the same grounds.
Okay.
So the men worked on the other side and the women worked on another side. In fact, I think Damian Marley's mother speaks about it in something I watched some time ago.
Okay.
So already you're instilling in the men not to be responsible for their children. And that was it. There was a breeding thing they used to do. So bring them together. Oh, her and her, him and her, breed them to create a child that was strong or...
You take the mic.
So when they say breed you,
please.
it's a mentality. It's in there. It's in there. It's in there.
Just hold my mouth.
No, it's in there. A lot of our behaviours are stemming from way back and haven't changed. And so we don't realise how damaged we are.
No, because you know what I was going to say? Like, you know, with childhood trauma, I always think, like, you have the parents that know they're causing affliction, but once you delve into their story, their childhood, you notice there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of resentment, but loads of things happen. But I always find it weird, like, why, if you know these things and you know how much it hurts, why would you go and do that to your offspring?
Because it's conditioning.
Yeah, I get it, but like,
because they don't.
You're not trying.
No,
to...
it's not that. You see, there's a okay. That's probably an unfair thing to do. Because why did I decide to be different? Exactly. Okay, let me think around it.
It's a choice.
It is a choice.
It's a choice.
But if you're not armed with, if everybody around you, okay, for instance, what was you talking about earlier? So you can have, okay, so that attitude that my man displays in the video, I'm sorry to talk about you, but displays in the video, he said he didn't give a F about his kid. He was detached from it. Yeah. The girl said she couldn't get pregnant, lied to him when she was pregnant, so I was like, I don't give a F about this kid.
Yeah.
Now, just because he's on camera, people want to rinse. And I'm looking at the men thinking, you're so full of shit.
Yeah, because you know.
Because I hear men talk like that all the time, like, who cares? Who cares if I've got a kid? I ain't got time. Not my or not even that they know. It's like, it's not my problem. Why should I fix a problem which I never create? Because they don't understand whether you're there or you're not. You are part of the problem. Even if you've had the same upbringing, because of your conditioning, you're saying, well, I'm all right. If you were, you wouldn't say that. You know, but that behaviour, that wasn't new. Nothing he said in that video is nothing I haven't seen or heard all my life. So why don't we just stop being fake?
And another thing,
Friday.
Another thing, because this is one thing in that situation which occurs a lot. Like, you'll have the absent father, the one that doesn't want to commit, whatever. And then because the mum's so angry with the situation, or she's pissed off at the fact that he's not doing his part, they become toxic. And then the youth has this complex, or maybe that's how you become misogynistic.
Wow.
Because it's
you're touching on something there.
Like, if a woman's like dogging a man consistently, like all the time, and maybe you're raising a son, the son's gonna think, this is how women view us as men. I hate her because the way she talks about men is derogatory. So then you've got this cycle of, like,
you just made me think. I think the reason why I can be different is because I did have a father. I wasn't raised with my biological father, but I did have a stepfather that raised me. So perhaps seeing that dynamic even though I was in the situation and there were issues, there were still issues.
Yeah.
I've seen the dynamic of a husband and wife and a dad being there.
This is another thing. If you don't
Maybe
have the
that's
figures,
what it is.
the father figures or womanly figure or someone who's doing things to a certain degree, like correct, because no one does everything perfectly, but someone who's got good ethics. Example, you're not gonna think this is possible for me.
True.
Or I can change or be of good influence to my offspring or my.
But also, like I said already, with that whole misogynistic thing, and we're going to do a big old stuttering. We're going to do a show on that.
Yeah.
It is possible for a woman to be misogynistic.
Yeah.
And I watched something on that same channel. I forgot what it's called now. That Kissela was on, and I saw these girls, and they were talking about. There was a guy sat down. After about 5-10 minutes, I said anyway. There was a guy. There were men this side, women the other. I say women.
It's back chat.
Okay, of a certain age, 20s. I'm gathering, perhaps maybe touching 30. I don't know. And this one guy, he was a stay-at-home dad, I think. And these women were expressing their thoughts on the situation. And they were actually being quite disrespectful. If I'm honest, because it was the mentality is if a man's not providing, he's basically a bitch. Now, let me explain.
In a different way.
Let me explain. If the woman's earning more than him, and this is women talking, he's a bitch. This is women talking. I was watching the behaviour. I was like, immature. You have no knowledge. I'm not surprised men don't respect you.
That's not how the world
Basically, what they did, what I said was, you've just adopted the man's mentality, and the way they were speaking to him, exactly how we complain that how men speak to us.
I don't understand why they're emasculated.
Then at the same time we say, oh, why don't you help with the children? You finally have a man that is not all caught up in his ego and masculinity, that he can happily. You know what?
Then
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
You're vexed when the guy's toxic and wants nothing
to do with the child, right? Because I could tell you the truth. When we were growing up, right? They say we come home, so you get ready for dinner. Yeah. Who cooked? Mum or dad? Dad. Yes. We would get gas, and Mum would be like, "You like too rude, man." But a lot of the time, like I said, it wasn't always perfect, but we enjoyed when Dad would do things.
Yeah.
My dad tried to do my hair, and Mum went to Jamaica and got the curling tongue, burning, sizzling. We had to cut my hair. But it was all of those things gave me at least some insight on how a man can be towards a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they're just trying.
Yeah, but to be honest, all right, in my generation, men were chauvinistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, misogynistic. I'm not saying I didn't see that too, because I did. There are all the things that I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is that it's a breath of fresh air. If I see a man and he's holding children and he can get it. Not the woman's man, but I'm just saying. I'm not like I'm going to go for someone else's man.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying. He gets respect from me. It's attractive.
Yeah.
It's attractive. And some men, i.e. some person in my family, he used to take you. And then when I was, the girls would say, "I know whose baby that is." No, it's not his child. It's mine. Anyway, one of my brothers. Yeah.
I don't know.
Men will take children round to get gal.
Yeah, because it looks a certain way.
It's appealing. It's appealing. So, and one thing I want to say about that feminist attitude. Some people say, "Oh, you must be a feminist." No, I'm not. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm a strong woman.
Yeah.
I'm an individual. But also, I believe in balance. I believe in harmony. I believe in balance. And and a lot of people don't know. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That whole feminism thing arose because white men wouldn't allow their women to go to work. White men. It was never a black thing. If you check out our culture, because you act like we didn't have one, but we did. Everybody stole it. how could you have continents as big as America, as big as Australia, and as big as Africa and not have a culture? Stop taking the piss. We did have culture. And one thing was, where the man protected the throne. This is the throne. We were the throne. Another thing, before, in conception, before you get your X or Y or XX chromosome, you are a woman. Everybody is a female first. I just want you to know that.
Period.
Either way, whatever way you flip this coin, I'm partly a man and partly a woman. And a man is partly a man and partly a woman, because
what about transgender?
They made that shit up.
I just wanted to trigger you.
No, I don't care. Stop lying. If you was I'm a woman. Listen, you cannot assume my identity. Be a trans woman all you like, but don't pretend you don't know that you have a mother and where babies come from. And also, it's way more than your reproductive system, mammary glands. It's a DNA thing. Pack it the fucking. I can't sit here and tell people I'm a transgender woman just because I identify as one. It wouldn't be true. Come for me, I beg you. Let me break this shit down. You tell too much goddamn lies, and this is part of the problem. They've broken down blurred the lines and the identity, and a lot of that was to do with slavery, control. Remember, the pre-Adamites said in regards to black people that we were seen as bestial.
Yeah.
And that we had no souls.
But then you love talking about your Homo sapien and how you come from.
No. Anywho.
Please.
I would do a whole nother thing on that. What I'm saying is, all of the structures that we had have been the way the West thinks and the way us ancient people think is completely different. And so we're in a society, we're in a system that we don't understand why it doesn't work, because it's not ours. It was never ours. And a lot of this attitude that everybody has, but in this situation men have, which is based on control, ownership, disrespect, entitlement, misogyny.
Please.
What's the other one where you have loads of women?
Poly.
Whatever the fuck that's called. Cap. You know what? You have to have a certain conditioning to be okay with your man putting his things in every other girl and bringing it back to you. Don't lie. I'm a woman. I have seen it. I have seen guys that have got loads of women, and then to say, oh, they're all happy. Bullshit. I don't want to know somebody else who's riding you better than me. Fuck that shit. Secondly, you wouldn't all share a fucking toothbrush, but you can share a willy. Get the fuck out of my... Listen, I don't believe any of this shit that people are saying, because I'm looking with my eyes at society and it's a whole goddamn mess.
It's like no self-worth at all.
I'm not buying it. But I understand it's a business and but if you enjoy being in these type of dynamics, you're toxic. Something's not okay.
But that's why you have demon time.
Well, why that?
Please.
Demon time.
Demon time is when it's kind of like whole hours, or you have sad girl hours. You have different times of the day in it. Demon time, you can start it at any time, but it's normally nighttime.
What in when you
decide you want to be freaky with, with someone, and then you're just on a mad one, like you're in heat basically. But
so you
decide.
Is this a thing?
So
this is a thing.
Yeah, basically someone could be moving to you.
Yeah.
And maybe you give them the same energy back, and they're like, yeah.
Oh wow.
That's what it means. You're on it. Let's go.
Okay. Well, well, you know what, that whole demon thing.
But why does that have to be the name for it?
But do you know who were called demons?
Jezebel.
No, us. Swate Piite.
No.
They said he was the first Father Christmas, and he had little demons. And then when I looked it up, there was little black people.
Please. I'm not involved.
You know what? There's a play on words and all these different stuff.
I'm not blaming that.
I understand the attitude is the issue. I understand. And what I will say that
people like being toxic because adrenaline, yes.
It's the power to...
We can fight each other, and yeah, I'm on top. I won. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get back by mashing up her car, and then yeah, she's got the best pums, but I don't like this, that. You can never be my baby mums, but I'm gonna rinse you out until you have no sauce, and then I'm gonna come back.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And then I love you.
I love you. Yeah.
The door.
But you know what's interesting? What's interesting now? This people aren't gonna like this one. Some people.
What?
Those side chicks must have felt shame. Born out.
Got fun.
And this is my thing here. Now, everyone in the situation is getting played, but I know these types of women are the same women I saw chatting on that program. I don't care. Come for me. All of you come for me. See if I don't read all of you. What I'm saying is, she said, what did she say? Don't you think that's embarrassing for me? That everybody knew I was with you and you had all these girls. So they knew she was with him and they still were all over it.
Yeah, but they probably didn't know that there was so many other girls being rotated.
Precisely.
They thought it was a one-on-one thing.
And that brings me to my point. This toxicity is not just between men and women, it's between women and women.
Right. Because
you knew that he had a whole woman and you didn't care, you climbed it.
Is that misogynistic?
Yes, it's misogynistic. It's giving pain to another woman on purpose.
And like, this is what I'm saying. As soon as I know someone's dating someone or they've got a girlfriend, I don't have time. That's where I back out.
And it happens. We do get fooled. I've been fooled. Yeah. And then people be vexed. Like,
yes.
Why was you seeing it? Well, don't be mad at me. He said he didn't have anyone.
When they're doing a threesome.
Oh, I forgot about that. What a cheek. And you know what? There's people that don't... One of the things that he said was, it was the only thing that I could do. I had no money, had no job, and so he gave himself...
But it felt like an achievement.
It felt like an achievement.
That's embarrassing.
But most men think like that.
No. And it's sad
because they are lacking, and this is what I'm trying to say. Because they are lacking in something in their life, and this is the problem. Women think it's about them. They think, oh, it's something that I wasn't providing, and then what's nasty about it is I'm sure, because I know that I told you, I've mentioned that one. Come on the phone, bright and brazen, think she's special because my man's telling her, gassing her up. To break this, you don't want to piece them in. So this is what they do in narcissistic relationships. It's triangulation.
Bye.
And so they're saying people, you're the worst, you're this, you're that, you're other, because what it does is it makes it okay then for them to. It makes it okay for them to be cheating.
They have no confidence.
Oh, this is what he showed us. It's about a lack of confidence.
But why do you pick that? And he even said it. He knew it would hurt her, so he was glad he never met her parents. But you still continue.
The point is that we are raised in toxicity, and that type of behaviour is not just something he does. Most men I know think that way.
But I'm saying, if you know it and you know it's bad what you're doing, why do you still continue?
Because it's a buzz, it's an adrenaline, it's power,
it's
an achievement.
I don't care, get out.
And if we started changing,
because the minute you flip that and do it back on them, they're talking about you're a hoe, you're this,
and they can dump you. They can dump you and expect you to still hang about whilst they go away and dig out money and then tell all the friends that you're the hoe. Oh yeah, I know about them ones too. And this is what I'm saying, the dysfunction.
Let me see.
Because not only did you have a girl, not only did these girls know, but also their parents were involved in it. Right. How did your parents not know that he wasn't a good guy? Because they played the game well. This is what I'm trying to say. And there's a guy called Lee Hemingway, and he is an aware narcissist. And I'll put the thing up. And what he says, there's this misconception that these men only go after weak women. He says, no, I am turned on by a strong woman. Because it means that... Anyway, I'll put the video up.
When anyone says a narc and his mother have a secret obsession with each other.
Yeah, it's because their mum is a narcissist themselves. And they taught them everything they know. And also, especially with men, narcissistic men, they taught them these very, very, very misogynistic attitudes. Narcissistic women are some of the most misogynistic people out there. They absolutely despise women. If you look at a narcissistic family, you can tell which one of the children ended up being a narcissist, because they have this weird obsessive relationship with their mother. And the ones who aren't narcissists never want to talk to her.
At the end of the day, all of this type of stuff has to be brought to light. It has to be, because at the end of the day, right now when we look at the world, and when we look at the world, it's end game time. It's just going all out of control. Am I being extra?
No.
The amount of things I'm seeing in some new mad
people attacked. People are crazy. I'm not involved.
Another thing you said, because think about it now, if this is happening in a household where, like you said, not only is the boy seeing it but the girl seeing it, this brings to light that when you said you were taken to that woman's house and the girl was saying, I'm going to see my dad, let's go downstairs. She says, who's your dad? And you were like, my dad. How come you're letting this girl go? Now, you know what you're doing there? You're showing your daughter you have no loyalties to her.
Yeah. So
now she looks at a man that has men that don't have loyalties. Mm-hmm. You're hurting me in my face. Then you gave my title to this random girl who I don't know. The random girl is smiling like it's good. You know what you're raising there? You know what you're raising there? A side chick.
Period.
A side chick that thinks it's okay to take other people's man. And then take the dynamic further. The mother's happy that she's got a new dad. The mom saw what she did, knew what she did. So now what you're doing is you're part of a situation where enabling, knowing that your child's father isn't there, but you're quite happy to take somebody else's child's father, and you don't feel no way. Do you see the mess? Yeah. Do you see it? You see, people are not...
it's bad, that's why you keep it a secret.
No, but some people don't keep it secret. Some people have a man in their yard, knowing that they have children, but they're okay with them being in a house with their child or children. They'll have more children, and they're sitting happily bliss, and then run out there, how my baby father's dead. Don't ring my phone, I've got a man here. But the man you've got in your yard is the same man you're running on the phone.
Are you not
because he's got children somewhere and he's not fending for them, and you're cool with it.
This is what I'm saying.
Do you see what I'm saying?
The mindset is just off.
That's all I've got to say for today. It's a short one.
Short.